What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. You're not dreaming. This is the second video that I will have made today on the 11th of January. I feel it's only proper because I literally made my video and posted it probably at the worst moment possible. I want to explain some stuff here real quick, okay? First and foremost, throughout the predominant majority of this range, even from the high, we were calling for support to be found directly at this level that we found support. We were expecting a nice run up, and we didn't get it either of the times we found support there. So as we continue to grind out, what I was saying yesterday was that we probably slipped down, and because yesterday I was expecting that we would move up, that we would not move down to 007 or 006 or whatever down here. Because of that, I was expecting that we'd move down and we'd see a fake out. And truth be told, we did see a fake out. That's exactly what we have here. But typically fake outs, whenever you break out, they happen pretty quickly. It's not a long-lived experience. Here we spent the better part of a day underneath this level. And when I made my video today, this morning, I made it right after we just rejected this prior support zone. So we were lingering, not really typical of fake out behavior. And we back tested prior support as resistance, and we rejected down. Not really typical of fake out behavior. So I got bearish. I did, literally, right here. Whereas we were bullish everywhere else, I got bearish right here. And even in that video, even in the video that I made today, there were still some bullish things, and I even addressed that in the video. But I went with the downside, and I said I hope I was wrong. Well, I was wrong. We moved up. That's great, right? If I just was stubborn, if I just didn't accept that this rejection meant that we were going to go lower, if I just held to my guns, would have been right overall, like I was expecting most of this range to resolve. But whatever, who cares? It's not a big deal. I don't care that I was wrong. I'm making money, right? Isn't that the best whenever you're wrong and you're making money? That's how you know you're doing things right. At no point did I say that I would sell. I just said I would look to buy more down here, right? But guess what? We already have enough. It's pumping up. That's great. That's phenomenal. Enough about me. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about you. Yes, I made a video predicting that we would go down, but I did say that the way to prove that I was wrong, is that from a low to a high, today we have to close above the 382. That's it. That's all it is. If we didn't close above the 382 today, we'd likely go to the 0.5 or golden ratio. I don't know about you guys. We got 5 hours left in this day. We're sitting here at about 1 cent. I think we're going to close above the 382. Anything can happen. It doesn't take a lot of time to move up. We've moved up in the last 3 hours. We have 5 hours left in the day. We can certainly move down. But damn, guys, this is looking good. This is looking really good. And something else that kind of gave away it was a little bit of a hint that we might reverse back up, was that when we broke out, we had a little bit of volume, but it really wasn't much volume. We didn't really have much volume at all. And we tried to push lower here, we just didn't have much volume. There are implications all over, and I just took the wrong side, whatever. 1 hour time frame here, looking at this, the RSI is bullish, the stochastics are bullish, and the MACD is bullish. The 4 hour time, and the MACD is bullish right here because we're about to cross above the zero. That's pretty good. That says a move is just beginning rather than coming to an end. I don't think that this is the ending of a move. I don't think that this is a fake out here, right? Especially with the volume we're seeing on a 4 hour time frame, you guys. We're seeing more volume on this candle. We have 1 hour left in than we've seen since we were, originally in this, in our first day or two up at this kind of top end area. We're seeing the most volume that we've seen since the 7th. It's the 11th now, so it's really not that impressive, but still it's a fact nonetheless. The RSI is bouncing off the 40. And this was a reason why I was bearish. This was a reason right here why I was bearish, because it seemed as though we might interact with this level. The oversold zone was perfect right there, and it would have been perfect. It would have looked good, but guess what? Whatever, we moved up. That's fine. We're moving up here, and we're likely going to get into the overbought. So you guys, we got overbought. We did not get oversold. That's very bullish conditions that we're in. And again, one of the main reasons that I had been bullish for so long throughout this range is that typically you don't get a deep run like this in the RSI, and then it's a one-off run, and then you get oversold and you break back down. That's not typical. Typically, it comes in droves, and I think that's what we're seeing here. Is we're about to make another attempt into the overbought zone. Let's focus on this for a second. Okay, let's focus on what this means getting in the overbought zone, because we're not there yet, but we're about to be. Right? When did we last get not out of the overbought zone? Not when we were last in it, but when did we last get into it? Getting into it. We last got into the overbought zone right here. Relatively speaking, that's fun. That's nice. We grew. We were moving sideways and kind of moving down even. A little bit of upside is nice. And we got overbought because of it. But look at the reference, the relevance of the move. Like you weren't even, from a high to a low, if we draw that low, you were like an eighth of the way all the way through the move. That doesn't translate directly to here. Just because we're not overbought yet doesn't mean we're an eighth through this move. We're up 18% now. Multiply that by 8 and you get your number. Maybe that's what we get. Maybe more. It's not necessarily a reference to that. It's just more of a reference to say that once we got overbought, we were nowhere near done with this move, right? And I think that it's the same thing here. We're breaking out. I think it's very obvious right now that we are breaking out. We've actually got more volume now, just in the time that I've been talking. Oh no, I thought that we overtook that. We do have a little bit less volume than we do here, but we're about to have more volume than that probably within the next hour. We've got an hour left in this consolidation phase, or in this candlestick. I'm sorry. We're clearly breaking out. This is what a breakout looks like with volume, right? Whereas here, again, there was some skepticism from me at first, because when we broke out, there wasn't really that much volume at all. This is a breakout. This is much more proper, and that's something to note. We take this from a high here to a low. We've gone just above the 382. Now, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It is pretty common, even in this smaller retracement, to go from the 382 to the 236 to the golden ratio to the 0.5382 up to here. You know, you kind of stair step and then you break out. So just because we're up 17% right now doesn't mean that we have to keep up this pace. Maybe we do, and that'd be exciting. Maybe we wake up tomorrow and we're at 2 cents. That'd be awesome. Maybe we wake up tomorrow and we've moved up to 1 cent and we're back down at 0.087. That's fine. It doesn't have to be this immediate thing. It doesn't have to look like this in order to inevitably get there. We are going to see a move just like this. We're totally back on the thought that we're going to see a move that is just like this, but maybe even bigger. And the thought from here, we zoom out on a weekly time frame, we take a high to a low. The thought from here is, all right, well, we hit the 382. We came back and found support at the 236. Now we're getting a bullish engulfing candle. We are likely going to go up to the golden ratio, at least somewhere in that zone, which is at about 1.9 to 2.3 cents. Could we push through it? Yes, we could. I don't really think so. I'm not as confident that we do that. I mean, it could happen. Let's actually see. If we were to see a stronger move, maybe. Let's see, low to high. Low here to high. I mean, I guess if we were to see the same move, if this is a bull flag and it's to be respected that way, I guess calling for the 786, 886 area would be appropriate too. I'm not calling for that. I would love to be pleasantly surprised, but I'm going to call for 1.92 to 2.3 cents. I'm going to call for that area. And if we exceed that, 2.9 to 3.7 cents, this zone would likely hold us as resistance, and a lot of significance at that 786 level there. And the 886. I mean, from the 786 perspective, you've got this point of resistance, right? Which is, as far as significance goes, it's the most significant point that we have, relatively speaking, other than this high. And then from the 886, we have this point of support, which is what held right before we, crashed. That's a pretty significant level too. We get above 3.72 cents, all hell breaks loose to the upside. We go to 10 cents, 22 cents very fast. OnyxCoin is moving exactly as we expected it to move, more or less. It's happening faster than what people are expecting. And the fact that we're not going down here, going this low, the only negative thing about that is it doesn't give people an opportunity to buy. There's so much buying pressure. There's such a lack of selling pressure here. Nobody's selling. The reason why is because the majority of people who are holding OnyxCoin here, they did not buy it here. They bought it here, here, here. They bought it here. They bought it here. The majority of people probably bought it here and sold out at some point, you know what I mean? And maybe they FOMO'd back in. Most people aren't selling now because they're just getting back to neutral or even slightly red, right? Most people who are holding OnyxCoin right now are probably not in the green. I'm in the green. If you bought whenever I bought, if you bought before this rally, if you bought all the way back here or any time after that for like a year, then you're in the green. Most everybody who bought back here is in the green. Who bought over a year ago is in the green. But for the past year, this has kind of been our range. So, we're still at the lower half of this range overall, from a high to a low. Who's going to sell here? We just pumped 100%. There's prospects of us going higher. We have Goliath mainnet coming out. There's all kinds of things that are going on right now in the space that are positive for cryptos just like OnyxCoin, for DeFi protocols. Who's selling here? In my opinion, my most humble opinion, you're probably going to find a lot of selling pressure. And that doesn't mean it's going to hold us back, but we don't really have much selling pressure here. We probably find a lot of selling pressure at this golden ratio zone because now we're at that point where a lot of people, most participants in OnyxCoin are either neutral or in the green, and they might take profits. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Hold on. They're either going to take profits and put it into a coin that they've had their eyes on that they wish they could have bought more of. OnyxCoin just came up, now they can. Maybe they're gonna hold. I'm gonna hold, but there's more reason to take profits here than there is here. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, the only people taking profits here are the people who bought here, and the amount of people who bought here versus any of this other time is just gone. None of the sellers, nobody's selling here because all the sellers are gone. They all left. This is that last bit. And sellers typically are FOMO buyers, right? If you FOMO the low, you're probably the same person that FOMO'd the high. You're probably the same person that will FOMO as we go higher too. You know, that just typically is what happens, right? A lot of people are upset about people saying that they're going to sell down here. I got excited with all the negative responses and comments that I get with people saying that they're done, they tapped out, they've sold out, because no, you're not. You're going to come back as soon as this thing catches wind, because then it's everything that you knew it would be, and then you just gotta wait. We're not at that point where we validated ourselves yet. Once we get above this high, we're valid. But I just wanted to get on here, guys, and say good job. I'm waving the white flag of bearish surrender. We're not going lower. Unfortunately, for the poor souls who might have been chomping at the bit to buy down here, you're not going to get that chance. Anything's possible. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. But this looks real, guys. This looks like the real deal right now. Bouncing off the 60 level perfectly on the daily time frame, right off a prior area of support, resistance on the RSI. Coming up, we could form bearish divergence, maybe. Maybe we form bearish divergence. Maybe we get above the 90. We don't get any bearish divergence. So mark my words, wouldn't it be funny? As soon as we take out the high, we get rid of the bearish divergence, that's when we sell off. But we're likely going to run, with a deep reading like this to the 90s, we're likely going to run further in the RSI, further up, right? Maybe not further up than this high, maybe, but just further up than where we are now. And again, just in that perspective, like even here, on this day where you moved up 17%, you got overbought. If you sold when you got overbought here, you missed out on a 64% move the next day, even more than that, or continuation of that the following day. An overall pump that was like 140%. I'm not saying that we'll pump 140% from here, but maybe more. Who knows? We got a lot of growth to go. From a high to a low, the expectation, at least on my behalf, from here, is that we go to the golden ratio, which is about 100% to 140%. Imagine, just hear me out, again, with all the random ramblings I've had in this video, and I've talked about it over the months. Imagine you sold, and you're probably watching this, whoever you are, who did sell at the bottom. I'm going to talk to you. And just hear me out if you're not those people. Imagine you sold here. And maybe you bought here. And you know how fast this thing moves. And now you're watching a video, or maybe you're doing your own analysis, and you come to the same conclusions I do, that, if we're not stopping here at these points of resistance, where's the next point? These points of resistance. You're looking at this and thinking, man, I could make an easy 2x in this thing. I made the wrong decision and sold for a loss. I'm not going to have nearly the same amount of money I would have had if I just held, but still, I can make a short-term play and mitigate some of those losses. Now, it's like literally the most ironic thing is that this is a perfectly safe time to FOMO. If, and I say safe, only if you have the long-term prospects in mind. Or even these short-term ones, right? If you got to get in, get out kind of plan. If you want to buy here and you're only expecting the upside, and then the downside comes and you panic sell, it's not a good time to FOMO. But if you can buy here and hold through any downside that may or may not come, I think it'll be worth it. And I really do think, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, you won't find many people who say it's a good time to buy when you're up 78% in a given week. But I think it's a great time to buy. How many cryptos can you buy that are up 78% this week, that are up 22% today, that have 100% or more growth gains to be had probably in the coming days? Not many. I could have sold down here, and if I'm looking at this chart right now, I would be chomping at the bit to buy here. I'd be kicking myself in the butt for selling down here, but man, that's the whole point of what I'm saying. If you panic sold down here, you're emotional. These are emotional times to the upside, let alone if you actually do TA and understand technical analysis and price action. We have 100% move or more coming probably in the next 5 days, guys. Or less. It could be tomorrow. I mean, maybe we're up at 2.9 cents, 3.7 cents, but it's coming soon. And then at that point, I mean, imagine we get the price above this high here. At that point, the only thing we're waiting for is salvation, is the promised land. is the land of the 1272 to the 1618 like we've been waiting for quite a long time. Somewhere between 10 cents and 23 cents. Personally, I don't think we stop at 10 cents. I do think we get above 14 cents. Do we go all the way up to 23 cents? We could. Maybe we do. We'll see. Time will tell. I got nothing else. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I just really wanted to come on here and say good job. Just good job. We're doing the thing. We're doing it well. We had bullish divergence on the 4-hour MACD. Should have seen it coming. Bullish divergence on the stochastics too. These were the the couple of things that were giving me a little bit of hesitation and being bearish. But ultimately they prevailed. We're going to bounce with this kind of a movement. We're going to bounce off the zero with the MACD. The stochastics are going to get overbought. The RSI is going to get overbought. I mean, all bullish things coming. With that all being said, we're up 19% right now in the past 4 hours. If we pull back, it's okay. It's totally fine. We can pull back a little bit. It's not a big deal. Low to high, we don't want today to close below the 382. I don't care how low you go. Pull all the way back down below 009. Go to 0087 or 86. Just don't go below 00838 and close there today. Because I can promise you, if we come up, reject the 236, and then we close below the 382 again, the 0.5 to golden ratio targets will come back on the table like that. Be aware. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. There's still a possibility, however low that chance has been now with this kind of engulfing candle and this volume to back it up, there's a chance that we could go to 0073 to 00587. Even with that being said, I'm feeling the FOMO here, and I think you should too. Hit the like button. Take care. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.